Hello everyone, welcome to our stream for this Sunday, November 16th. How are you all doing today? Hopefully you're all doing fantastic. There we go. DC, it is nice to have you here. I see you are sick with a cold. Well, I really hope that you feel better. Really hope things improve for you. Yeah, it's always terrible when you're sick, right? Yeah. Always a bad feeling, but then you feel so much better when you feel good again. Isn't that such an amazing feeling? Like you feel like so bad and then you feel better. And then it's like, oh, you take it for granted. You take feeling good for granted. But there's also something kind of nice about being sick as well, because it's like, I know at least for me, like if you have it's like a time for just like you just take a break, you just rest, you can't really do much of anything, so just relax and take it easy, you know? Sometimes that's just what we need. So yeah, fortunately for me, I don't really get sick too often. I don't remember the last time that I was sick. Probably over a year ago, but it has been some time, to say the least. Eclection, great to have you here. How are you today? I hope you are doing well and you are not sick, hopefully. We have our mice here to say hello. Hey, boys and ladies, how are you today? Here, hang on. Move your foot so they can see you wave. Okay. He's waving. That's right. And then we got the other one. That's right. He's waving too. Hey boys and ladies, how are you today? There we go. They can just sit. They can just kind of sit right there for the time being, although they are kind of blocking my tea. As you can see, I have tea. Let's see if you can see it steaming. I kind of see it in my preview, but I don't know if you're able to see it in the on the broadcast. Who knows? But still, I can see it steaming. Although it's really not cold today, for me at least. My body has not been cold. I have not been too cold. Maybe it's because I have something relatively heavy on. So if I ever get cold, I can just there. So, also Christmas time is approaching soon, you know, like another month, a month and a week, basically. So I'm going to have to pull out the Christmas stuff for these mice. Really? Yes, it's going to be Christmas time for the mice. I'll have to wear the Christmas hat to celebrate Christmas time coming up, right? Just think, 2025 is almost done. It's crazy. Time is just so fast these days. How's everyone spending their last month and a half of this year? Hopefully doing something productive. Hopefully doing something good. I sure hope so. What about these mice? What are they up to? Just nothing much. Oh. Isn't that cute? Anyway. We just have him sit right there. See if he's visible. There we go. He's balancing. He's balancing ever so well. This one doesn't balance as well, the other one. He doesn't quite balance quite as well. You get him? Oh, there we go. I have two mice balanced. You can't really... I don't think I can move this down for you to be able to see them. But they're kind of leaning back and their butt is on the edge of my table. Ever so slightly. It's funny looking. Especially this one. You can see a little bit more of this one here. It just looks like just looking up at the roof. And basically is what he's looking at. Anyway. Silly stuff. Silly stuff. Anyway, hopefully I can take a sip of this tea momentarily. Then we're going to talk about curses. This can be curses in many different ways. I'm curious to know if you feel as though anything has been cursed within your life. That is what I would like to hear from you. Have you been cursed? Possibly. Do I still use Joy Organics? Joy Organics. There it is. Joy Organics. Yes, I still do, and you can still save 15% using my code AUT15. Yes. I think that's the code, right? AUT15? I think it's 15%, which is pretty good, so. Yes. So yeah, I use that product. That's the CBD oil. And they have a few other products as well, like gummies and everything. I've tried those. So, yeah. It's not like every day that I use it, but it certainly is useful. At least for me, when it comes to, I've noticed it's really good for like any sort of digestive issue that I may end up encountering, or I feel a bit anxious. That's also very helpful. Just kind of calms you down a bit. So yes, just overall for very good relaxation even. So those are the two biggest benefits that I've found using the product. But I don't have any of that in my tea today. In my tea, I have some honey. So that is what I have in my tea. It's just like a spearmint tea, I guess. A little bit pepperminty. Peppermint tea, yes. And a little honey in it. Still can't drink it yet. Still can't drink it. Boys, you ready to talk about curses? It's not a curse to be living with these big feet. Nope, not at all. That is too cute. Look how he just looks. So cute. Anyway. Why don't we move the mice aside? Let me take my sip. I'm gonna try to take my sip here. Bit too hot for me right now. I'd like to say hello to, what is that? Christ Dizzing. Great to have you here. How are you doing today? Hopefully you're doing fantastic today and have had a nice weekend. Okay, Alexandri, great to have you here. That's right, it just shows the, it only ever just shows the, what is it, the usernames. I wish it would show like the actual person's name, but yeah. It's just so so annoying. Yeah, like if I go to your YouTube channel, let's see what it says. Yeah, it says Alexandri on your YouTube channel, but yeah, that's just how YouTube is. That's just how YouTube is. That is the username. It only shows the username. It's like, why do they think that was a good idea? And why is there not a setting for it? Because even like the other user here, Eclection, the name is Baby Gravy, which is that's a good one. That is a good one. So yes. Anyway, we're about to enter the cursed territory. So if you are cursed, I guess you will know. Let's enter the cursed zone. There we go. All right. We have behind us here this creepy voodoo doll. There, I have to move myself all out of the way. You know, whether or not you believe in voodoo, that's entirely up to you, but when we're talking about curses, someone has put a curse upon you, and how you can tell that someone has put a curse upon you, because it could be a curse like this, some sort of black magic or witchcraft or any of that sort of stuff, or it could be in many other ways that a curse is put upon you. It could be in that sort of metaphysical sense, more of a spiritual sense, where there's a curse. There could be demons attached to you, negative forces, negative entities attached to you, leeching off of you. You could have a string of bad luck. You could have very bad things happen to you. You know, like there's a lot of different ways of looking about it, even from a religious point of view. When you're talking about demons and angels and that sort of thing, like each culture has different views on those sorts of things. But if we take a look at curse, someone has put a curse upon you, some sort of curse that has been laid upon you. Well, what would be really the reasons for this? Well, let's just take a look. Every single culture, every sort of religion has a different way of discussing this sort of topic. Something has happened to you, or even superstitions that happen. So maybe there's some superstition of, you know, don't walk under a ladder, or if you see a black cat, it's bad luck, or something along those lines. You know, each culture is going to have different ideas as to what is considered, you know, bad luck, or something bad will come upon you if you do those sort of things. Even to the point where certain cultures, if these beliefs are very strong, it can change a lot of society and how people function on a day-to-day basis. So whether or not the superstitions could be true or false, or there's, you know, no evidence, or people have testimony about these sort of things, whatever the case is, we'll be talking about a bit more in depth of some sort of curse that has been laid upon you, that someone has done to you. Okay. So the thing is about a curse. If someone has cursed you, if you have all this sort of bad things happening, you can't. This is not something that you actively see. You don't actually see a curse. You may feel it. You may feel. There we go. Let me move myself so we can see this absolute evil, this evilness happening behind me. This ritual of this evil satanic thing that is happening behind us. Satanic, devil worshipping, you know, evil stuff happening behind us here. We're just observing it. We're not absorbing any of its energy. We don't need any of it. Okay? We really don't. But regardless, you don't really necessarily see a curse. It's not something you can actively see. This is something that you feel and you live it on a day-to-day basis. You feel as though something is very wrong. You feel as though something just doesn't seem right. And usually it happens after you have interacted with someone who seems a little bit off, or you're in a place that something seems a little bit off. Okay? So this can be any sort of thing. So look, if you go to that really shady fortune teller who seems like a witch, and she like reading your mind, she knows everything that's going on, it's like you just kind of feel a little bit off about that, right? You kind of just walk out of there and it's like something seemed very off. Maybe there was some sort of curse that was put upon you from that. Or maybe you were in some sort of supernatural place, or haunted place, or something along those lines, and something just felt very off about the location. And even when you're out of it, you just feel as though something just doesn't feel right. Something just, I can't quite put my finger on it, but something does not feel right. If these are experiences that you're having, if you're feeling this, then this can be some sort of curse that you have absorbed, some sort of negative entity that has attached itself onto you, essentially. Now, this would probably be a good time to really talk about, there are many, many different ways you can view some sort of curse, okay? So, certainly, I think it's very fair to say that us human beings living in this physical world, there's many things that we don't understand. There's many things we cannot understand or comprehend in this world. There are many things that are happening all around us that we don't see. There are things that are even of this physical world that we don't see, that we don't pay attention to, that we just turn a blind eye to. So not to mention the more metaphysical things or things that are beyond our ability to physically see them, that are not in this dimension. Things along those lines that we cannot comprehend whatsoever. Certainly all those things are sort of happening all around us. So it's very fair to say, as human beings are, you cannot have good without bad. You cannot have bad without good. Evil, positive, negative. It's the duality of life. So you have these things that are negative, that are all around you, that you absorb their energy or they latch onto you. And you have positive forces and spirits and angels or whatever else it is, depending on your belief system. Because again, each religion, each culture is going to have different belief system. Angels, demons, positive forces, negative entities, whatever it is. But certainly there are things that could latch onto you, especially if you're in a much darker negative mindset. It's much easier to feed off you, much easier to manipulate you. So if you have some sort of curse upon you, there could be some sort of negative force that is manipulating things around you that you cannot see it, you're not aware of, but you sense it. You sense something's not right here. Something is very, very off, very, very suspicious. Perhaps you go through some feelings of like sudden bad luck is happening, just out of nowhere. Negative things happening to you. You cannot explain it. It's just all of a sudden, all these positive things are happening, things are going very well, and all of a sudden, it's like you're bombarded with all these negative things that just seem to come out of nowhere. And they're so peculiar, so weird, so out of the norm of what could possibly happen. It just suddenly happened. They could be with your own health. They could be with the people around you. They could be with things that are in your possession, things that you own, things that are important to you. Just like, something suddenly broke. Your health is starting, like all of a sudden, you just develop massive health problems that lead you down this negative spiral of all these doctor's visits and all these health problems. Or it could be, people around you just start acting very strange, or there's like some weird people that you're noticing around you. Whatever the case is, weird things are happening. Weird things are happening. Bad things are happening. And it's like, again, all of this is correlated with perhaps a person or an environment you were around before. It happens after that. You could have those drastic changes to your physical and mental health. All of a sudden, you're perfectly clean health, and then all of a sudden, something really bad happens. It could be an accident, maybe all of a sudden an accident occurs, whether it be like a car accident or, any sort of other injury, but it could just come out of nowhere, and it's very peculiar and very strange. Could be mental health related as well, where something just automatically, just very, very rapidly, it's like, how did that happen? It's like, why all of a sudden am I feeling so depressed or anxious when perhaps you're not someone who has ever really dealt with that to a strong degree, but all of a sudden you're noticing that you're feeling that way. It just randomly comes up. Well, there is nothing random. There is no such thing as random. There's certainly probability of things happening, but there's no such thing as randomness because everything follows some sort of logical order. Like, for example, if we think about, if you're randomizing music in your playlist, that's not really random. It uses some sort of computer algorithm to determine the placement for it. And here's something that's, just kind of a very interesting thing when it comes to randomness. I had two computers that were not connected to each other in any sort of way. They were completely different operating systems. One was Windows, one was Mac. And they were both on at the same time. And I have the same wallpaper installed on both, and they change every hour on the hour. And I boot up the computers, it's the same wallpaper. At the hour mark, they change wallpaper out of literally hundreds of wallpaper. I want to say maybe 150 wallpapers. They change the same exact wallpaper. So I'm like, okay, that's not random. That's using some sort of algorithm, which I guess is perhaps the same, to determine what the next wallpaper is. So yeah, there's nothing random about these things that are happening. It always has some sort of reason why it's happening. And if you're able to pinpoint and realize where it's come from, then you can begin to tackle some of that. Another thing is, if it is from a person, if someone has cursed you in some sort of way, and it could be from afar, it could be, using this voodoo doll here, this demonic satanic voodoo doll, if, some of these people do. It could be that it is some sort of curse from a distance even. It could be that, for whatever reason, you just have this person on your mind, just non-stop. You're just thinking about this person again and again and again. It's like they're just trapped within your mind, and you can't get them out of your mind. It's like, why am I thinking about this person? It's like, huh. And not only that, you start basing everything around them, almost as if they have, manipulated you or cursed you into, focusing and giving them all of your attention. Because the thing is, when you're thinking about someone, you're giving them your time and your energy. And for someone who's put a curse upon you, that is what they want. They want your time. They want your energy. And you're giving it to them without even realizing that they have made you be that way. This type of obsession that you have, and you have no idea why. It's very peculiar, it's very strange, and often it comes out of nowhere. So if you look at all of these signs, and if they fit you, if these things are just happening, just weird things happening, it's like everything that you do, it's like, I'm doing the best I can for my physical health and my mental health, and I'm doing all of these helpful, healthy things, but it's like your health is declining. It's not all that good. Something's going on that's much deeper than you can actually see, and it could be that there's some sort of negativity attached to you. Could be some sort of curse or demonic or negative spirit or energy that is near you that you need to be able to be mindful of. So we're talking about how to release that curse that someone has put upon you. Because once you realize it, that is the first step, obviously. But now you want to clear it. You want to get rid of that. You don't want that to be part of your life anymore. Anyway, we're gonna get rid of this evil voodoo doll now. We don't need to see that right now. We're gonna go back to me here. We don't need to see the evilness is now gone. Because it is not welcome here anymore. Anyway, you can finally drink the tea again. And we're going to bring the mice out as well. Because they are not cursed mice. No, they're not. They are very positive mice. They're very cute mice as well. And we can just see them just like this. There. We can just see their head. Look how cute. Very, very cute. Anyway. Yes, for our next segment, we're going to talk about how to release that curse that someone has put upon you, if that is the case. It's very interesting, isn't it? But I am very curious to hear your views on this, to see if any of you have dealt with any sort of similar thing. Perhaps you have, or perhaps not. I think with that information, you can certainly look and see if something has happened. There are always things that we may not be aware of, obviously. So. Hello there, Meliska. How are you doing today? I am hexed and cursed and I got a birthmark on my back, but I learned how to fight negativity around me. Oh, I'm very curious to hear your thoughts about that. How did you get rid of a lot of the negativity around you? Because the way that I put it, certainly there are things around us that we don't see, you know? We can't see with our physical eye. There are things that we may feel and sense, but that doesn't necessarily mean that we can actively see it with the limitations of our physical body. So, yeah, if there are things around us influencing us, we may think it is our own thought, but it's actually not, you know? And whenever I think of like someone putting a curse upon someone, I just think about, you know, some of those, you just saw it, that voodoo doll that I had behind me, right? That thing being really creepy, where I think about like very shady, like those fortune tellers, or like they look like witches and whatever. It's like, You just want to stay away from all those sort of things. You really do. You really want to stay away from pretty much any sort of thing like that. That's just, to me, that is very, very shady. You know, even if they say truthful things, you know, it's I don't think it's necessarily coming from a positive place. So, yes. But I'm curious, how did you figure out you were hexed and cursed? And how did you deal with it ultimately? Because yeah, that's what we're about to talk about in just a moment here. How to release the curse. We will suck out the curse if only the curse is in your feet. That's right. Well, actually, we will like sniff out the curse. And then we'll suck it out with our nose. That's right. Boy. Boy. You felt that way. Okay. Yeah, you know, after everything that we just talked about when it comes to feeling this curse, certainly maybe I guess you realized, hey, things don't seem right. Things seem a little bit off. So I guess you realized, a curse has been placed upon me. How do you go about, you know, living like that? How do you go about fighting off that curse and releasing it? guess there's many, many different ways of doing it. So yeah, we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that. Boy, look how cute. They're just so incredibly cute. I just can't. Anyway, boys, we're about to head into our next segment now. I gotta change my background. We're not gonna do the voodoo doll anymore. Look, we'll just take one more glimpse of it. Ugh, voodoo doll. You know, some people actually do this sort of stuff, and it's very disturbing and very disgusting. Now, we're gonna get the sage out here. If this helps, it may. We have the sage here to help release the curse that someone has been put upon you. Can it actually help? Can the sage remove the negative entities and negative spirits and demonic forces and all that sort of stuff that is around you? I mean, it could. It could. Certainly possible. But I think there's a lot more to it than just, you're just going to do this and just, oh, you're all free. You're all free. No, I think there needs to be a lot of different things done in order for you to release a curse that someone has put upon you. Whether it be some sort of voodoo curse that someone has put upon you, or, you know, something else that you just keep having all this bad luck, all these negative things, bad things happening. You talked about how to spot if someone has put a curse upon you. Now we're going to talk about how to release this curse someone has put upon you. Some sort of curse has been put before you into your life, and you feel as though everything is falling apart. Your relationships are falling apart, your job is falling apart, your whole life is just suddenly just falling apart, and it's all because of someone you were perhaps around. Oh. So that is actually honestly step one. Step one, realizing. Realizing the curse and realizing who did it. Who put that curse upon you? And then really you may try to think about the reasons why they have done it. Let's just think about that for a moment. What are the reasons why someone would want to curse you or put you into a bad situation to have bad things happen to you? A lot of times it could be that they are jealous in some sort of way. Maybe think about that. Jealousy, people who are bullies, people who harass you, people who feel very bad about themselves. So they want to bring you down. They put negative things from their existence into your life. Make you feel bad. You know, it could also be that the person who has put it upon you, they have been cursed themselves. And they're like, I want other people to know what I have felt. So they put that upon you. Like, here. Now you must endure what I have endured. So that you understand what I go through. It's awful, evil stuff, isn't it? It really is. Awful, evil stuff that people do. But human beings are very competitive in nature. They always like to be better than someone else. So if they see someone better than them, they feel very jealous. They feel very bad. So they want to bring the other person down to their level. So that can be what ends up happening. Some sort of curse has been put upon you to bring you down more to their level or below them. But once you recognize it, that is step one. Honestly, that is the acknowledgement that something bad is going on, something bad is happening to you, is the first step. Now, the next thing you want to do, you want to set an intention to remove the bad people from your life and replace them with positive people. Here's the thing. You may not even be aware This kind of goes back to what we talked about regarding toxic people in your life. You have to realize who are the bad people in your life, who are the toxic people in your life, who are the ones that are bringing you down, who are the ones that really don't have your best interest at heart. Think about the people that they make it all about them. You have a problem, you would like to share that problem, but then they always end up changing it to them most of the time. They don't show any sort of real compassion. All they want to do is just talk about their own life. Everything is always about them. Everything else outside of them inconveniences them to the point where they don't put themselves out for anyone. Any sort of negative, bad person that is in your life, whether it could be family members, it could be friends, it could be co-workers. If they don't have your best interest at heart, then they need to be removed from your life or not have the control over your life that you have let them have. And then you set an intention to bring the positive people into your life and to keep the people in your life who are meant to be there. I personally have done this when I realized all these negative people that perhaps I consider to be friends or close to me, and it's like they're not putting me first. They're just kind of just like, it's just her again. But they pretended to be all friendly and friends and everything. I realized, no, that's not how I deserve to be treated. I don't deserve that. So I set the intention, basically saying, remove these negative people who do not serve my most positive interest. The most positive interest that I have for myself to be able to learn and grow in my highest true intentions. Setting the intentions to remove those people and to bring new people into my life who would serve a more positive purpose, or to strengthen existing connections if they do serve a higher purpose in my life. And I noticed after I did that a few times, people were just kind of dropping off, just kind of really weird, really strange, just kind of like, they're just kind of gone. And then I noticed that existing connections, oh look, here comes a friend that I haven't heard from in a bit, just suddenly coming back. Or a few other, things that have transpired. So it's very interesting. And that's something that you should do. If you feel as though there's some sort of curse put upon you, release that. Release that curse by letting go of the people that are no longer serving you. Because it could be someone who is cursing you, who you hang around with every single day. It could be something that is more far off at a distance, meaning like it's just some random person that you met they don't have your best interests, obviously. But it could be someone who is closer to you, friends, family members, those sort of people. Now the next thing is, there's many different ways you can go about this. If we look back here, this could be one way, but you want to do some sort of ritual, in a sense, to eliminate these negative forces. Now this can be with some sort of sage. Sage is known to, get rid of negativity and negative spirits and energy and that sort of stuff. Absolutely. You could, depending on whatever religion or culture that you're in, you can do various other things, such as, praying. If you want to pray to, Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, go ahead and do that. Or whatever your God is, or whatever else it is that you want to do to be able to let go of those negative forces around you. Things that align with your belief system. Okay? Because certainly someone who doesn't believe in this or any sort of religion or whatever else, it can only go so far, right? But not necessarily, because sometimes I think it depends on certain circumstances. Someone who is not a believer in a certain thing, whether it be the sage or like a certain religion, even just suddenly something happens and they're like, okay, now I believe, right? So whatever the case is, there needs to be something done to let go of those negative entities that have attached upon you. You don't even necessarily even need to use a tool, but it's usually about speaking to it and just letting it go, letting it out. Now, I will briefly share my experience here because I have used the sage before. I had realized, and it took almost a year for me to truly realize, well, I mean, I did know prior, but I didn't really know how to go about it. I felt as though there was someone who just, it was very similar to like this curse that we've talked about. It's almost like I just kept thinking about this person for whatever reason. This was many years ago. Just kept thinking about them. It's like, why do I keep thinking about this person? It's very strange, very weird. And it's almost as if like when I would think about them, it was like I was giving them my energy and they were just like feeding off of it. Even though they were not like around me physically. It's like we were not in the same room. We were not close to one another. But it's like my mind would go to that and it would feel as though, you know, they were just kind of there. And it was just like, this feels very strange to me. And I had dealt with that as like I was having health issues, like weird health problems, all this other like weird stuff popping up out of nowhere. I'm like, what is going on here? It's very strange, very strange, very peculiar. Couldn't quite pinpoint it. Months go by. You know, I had not talked with this person in many months. And then that's when I realized, I think this is some sort of curse. This is some sort of curse that has been put upon me from this person. And that is when I'm like, okay, how do I release this? How do I let go of this? And I bought a kit online. It came with this sage. It came with this little thing of like oil. I guess it would be like equivalent to like a holy water, I suppose. But it's like an oil. And then salt as well. So what you're supposed to do, you're supposed to cleanse yourself, cleanse the environment with this sage. You put the oil around the, I put it around the door frames and the window frames, and you put the salt there as well to keep out any of the negative forces and everything. So mind you, I did that. I focused on this person. I'm like, I don't want you here anymore. You're not going to extract my life force anymore. Because it was almost as if you're familiar with the term in a more like spiritual sense, like cord cutting. So if you're spiritually attached to someone, it felt as though like my spiritual energy was attached to this other person via, you know, some sort of cord or whatever. And it was like they were just feeding off of my energy. So that is what I imagined severing. It's like, no, how are you still doing this? You know, it's like, I have not talked to you. I don't want anything to do with you. But you're still doing this. It is very disgusting. You know, literally like a whole year of like being in that negative space. So I did the ritual. And then just suddenly that person messaged me right after I do that ritual. Kind of like trying to get back in, you know? It's like, I'm not falling for that again. So I realized then, after I did that, that is the power that these negative forces, these negative spirits and entities have. And if you don't clear that out in any means necessary, however it is that it works for you, then you're just going to keep giving your energy to this other person, this other entity, this other thing. And you may not even be aware of it. As your health is declining, everything else is going bad. It's very important to be mindful of those things. So after you have cleared the curse, after you have gotten rid of the negative energy, you can't just fall back into old patterns. You can't. It's now time for you to set boundaries. You set boundaries, you stand your ground, and you say no to the negative people. If someone is trying to get you to do something like taking advantage of you, taking advantage of your kindness, Just kind of, those toxic people that we have talked about. If it's someone like that, you have to set the boundary and say, no, I am not dealing with this. I'm not going through this. No matter how hard it is, or if you feel as though it'd be rude of me if I say no, so be it. It doesn't matter. Go ahead and be rude. It should not matter at all. You have the right to say no and put your foot down and stand your ground. So that's something that you have to do going forward if you don't want other people slipping back in and draining you. And then the last thing really to do also, you don't want to externalize your power. You don't want to give your power, give your life, give all of your energy to someone or something else. You don't. What you want to do is be able to retain your own energy for yourself. You don't want to give it to someone else, especially to someone else who's taking advantage and extracting from you. You don't want to do that. And by you setting boundaries, you putting your foot down, you saying no, standing your ground, you'll be able to much more efficiently not externalize your power. So with all these things, if you do them, you'll be able to clear out that negativity, clear out those curses that have been put upon you, and then stop them before they get to the point that they were before. Okay, I'll read your message in just a moment here. I was talking so much there. Oh, okay. So to say, even in the crowd, I would always be pushed around and someone would intentionally release their negativity by trying to touch me. I used Hindu cleansing and an Icelandic war necklace. Oh. I have no idea what that is. Interesting. Icelandic runic protective necklace that I got in white gold. It protects me. My parents cursed me many times too. Ah, interesting. Let me see what this necklace is. I'm not familiar with it. It's very interesting. How long have you had that necklace? Let's take a look. Oh, I see. See, there's many different ways we can go about, feeling some sort of sense of protection, I suppose. If that is what works for you, excellent. Anyway. My voice is very hoarse. Maybe it's all the smoke from the sage. I'm going back. I don't use sage too often. Not too often. I have incense that I use more frequently. But sage, I have the big old thing of sage still that I had for many years. When did I buy it? I'm gonna look that up. Let's see. I bought it. I bought it in 2016. Gosh, okay, so it was a home cleansing and blessing kit is what it was called. No longer available. Comes with the smudge bowl, the stand, the smudge stick, the feather, and then it has a blessed anointing oil. It came with a candle, but I think I already used the candle. And then sacred salt. Interesting. So I did that to remove all the crap. And I still have like a lot of the oil left. Interesting. But yeah, that was 2016, almost is over 9 years ago. Wow. It's like an amulet, rarely wear it, but I feel its energy just by staring at it. Oh, interesting. Interesting. I can't say I ever feel that from stuff. Like, look, I can have like these crystals here or whatever. It's like I don't feel anything with these crystals. It's like, oh, yeah, it's okay, crystal. You know, we got mice. I can feel the power from the mice. I can also sense the stink from the mice. It is right. Let's see. Icelandic ruins, runic necklaces are called. Okay. Let me look up these. Okay. All right. Interesting, interesting. And then the other one, let me look up the other one. Got some crystals too. Yes, I have a lot of crystals in the other room, but I just do it for decoration. I don't feel anything from it. Some people say, oh, I feel stuff from it. Okay. You say so. I like amethyst. That is my favorite. But it's because it looks nice. You know? It looks nice. I don't do it, oh, because it's good for this and that. It's like, I don't know. I don't know. Anyway. Now I know that there's not too many people here, but let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. Probably no one in the chat is going to get it. Of course. We only had like one person here. If only you got it. Let's see. Tasha, congratulations. I think Tasha's gotten it quite a few times actually. So congratulations to you, Tasha. I always comment about that jelly garlic. Jelly garlic. Diana, congratulations. I recognize most of these names actually. They have been here before. Laksky. And then lastly, Michi the Queen. Congratulations to all of you. You've gotten a gift membership. Rooster. No. Rooster. Yes. Yes. Here you go, boys. Ooh. Yes, all of you, all 5 of you who have gotten the gift membership, congratulations. You have a 1 month free membership. Oh, we just saw a heart in the chat. Yum. So yes, you get a free month membership. You get early access to new videos months before anyone else has access to them. So congratulations, and you can always continue your membership after it expires if you wish to continue supporting the channel. So yes. It's always nice when the actual people are here though. But yeah, I've seen almost all those people in the chat at one point. So at least there's that. It's actually giving it to people who have been here before, who are just not here right now. So amethyst is beautiful purple, but it's not as strong compared to other crystals. Oh, okay, so maybe I like more subtle, possibly. Our favorite crystal is the feet crystal. Did right? Did right? The feet crystal. Yep, it's in the shape of a gigantic foot, and we like to go up to it and put our nose up to it and just like fuse with it. Anyway, folks, I want to thank you all so very much for tuning into the broadcast for today. I think our topic was very interesting, and hopefully it was helpful to you. Release these negative spirits and entities or demons that have plagued you. So yes, we'll be talking more next week. We'll be talking, let's see, what day is that going to be? November 23rd. So November 23rd, we will be back here for another interesting topic. And that'll be our final stream of November, because we're not going to stream the very last week. So November 23rd, be back here at the same time. And I will catch you all later. So thank you all so very much for tuning in. Congratulations to everyone who got the gift memberships. And I will see you all again later. Take care. Bye, boys and ladies. Bye, guys. That's right.